Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue our journey with The Bachelor. Listen to your heart. I am a couples therapist, and I'm going to react to this TV show. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda, and let's see what happens.
Tell me all about it. I believe in what Brandon and I have. It's like, I trust him. I love spending my time with him, and I actually see longevity here.
I was trying really hard to be present with her, you know? And so I feel like we did that.
That's cool.
So they're showing a conversation between Brandon and Savannah. Brandon is kind of breaking up with Savannah, and they're editing it pretty heavily, so we have no idea how the conversation exactly played out. And there were a couple points that we saw that Brandon said that he felt like there was a 5% where he couldn't really reach Savannah. What would that mean? Well, maybe it was the beginning of a relationship and you're not 100% vulnerable. Maybe Savannah has a bit of a wall up, and maybe Savannah isn't really that into Brandon. Who knows? Maybe Brandon and Savannah just aren't very compatible, and Brandon, that 5% was just that missing piece. So that's really hard to gauge. But we do see that Brandon's attitude, and we don't know, maybe Savannah was really mean to Brandon in some way, but Brandon certainly had a vibe about him of pushing people away and kind of a superior vibe, if I might be so bold to label it that way, of just like, well, these are my thoughts and these are my feelings, and you're just going to have to deal with it. Not a lot of empathy, not a lot of compassion towards Savannah. Why would someone be that way? Well, it's possible that because of relational traumas growing up, you not being attuned to, you not getting people to love you or have compassion for you, that you learn early in life, we're talking 3 years old, you just turn off two things. One is you turn off your dependence on other people. You're just like, yeah, I can do things on my own. The other thing is you turn off your connection with your own emotional center. The emotions are happening, but you turn yourself off from that. And what happens when you turn yourself off from your emotions, the pro to that is that you don't notice when your needs aren't being met, at least consciously, and you can get through the day more easily. So there's a benefit to that. The con to that is that all these emotions are happening and your needs are, all these unmet needs are trying to express themselves, and you don't really know what's happening, and it will sneak out in other ways. So I don't know, obviously, if that's true with Brandon, but what it could result is when you're breaking up with someone, you would come across kind of cold. Like, it's just like, hey, hey, you're over there, I'm over here. I already told you, now it's time that you go away because this is annoying me right now. I don't know. It's just speculation. As I always say, I can't diagnose from afar. It's just a tiny little bit of information that the show is giving us. While I'm on the topic, subscribe, hit the bell below, subscribe to the podcast on your phone app, become a patron on Patreon, and comment below. Have anything I've said so far resonate with you? Let me know.
What do I need to do to fix this?
Nothing. You can change it by coming into this place and stepping up and just saying, like, here's my choice. My choice is you.
My choice is
my
you.
choice
I'm
is
here
Julia.
for you.
Well, you didn't even give me this definitive answer of where you and Julia are. Like, you literally didn't even say, like, there was no part of this.
So this is interesting because the way Brandon came across to Savannah, it certainly seemed like he was breaking up with Savannah earlier. He was giving that impression quite strongly. So for him to now come back after her, total speculation, because we're not there and I can't talk with them about what's going on. Why would he do this? One interpretation that I'm guessing the internet has about this guy is that he's a player and he likes to string women along. People don't like to do that unless you're a psychopath and you actually like messing with people, which is possible that he is, but that's a pretty rare condition that I would need a lot more data to even show a red flag of that. So what would be the more common reasons why he would sort of string along Julia and Savannah and have a hard time? Well, it's possible that he doesn't really know what he wants yet, and that would be understandable. When you're dating and you meet people, you're like, oh, I really connect with this person in this way. I connect with this person in that way. Eesh, I can't choose. I don't know enough. I would need 2 different lifetimes to figure out which one is more compatible with me. I don't know. Maybe he's in that position. Another position that he could be in is a self-destructive a pattern in which he will put himself in a situation subconsciously, not consciously, so that people will end up really hating him. We call this masochism. There's other names we could put to it. But when, for example, we're treated really poorly growing up and we're made to feel like we're worthless, like we're bad people, we're not good enough in some way, sometimes we grow up in life and we will make decisions subconsciously to recreate that pattern where other people are looking at us like we're worthless. It's a self-destructive, masochistic recreation of the past by socializing other people around us subconsciously to treat us and to think of us and to feel their way about us the way that people we thought felt that way about us when we were growing up. So to be very specific with Brandon, total speculation, he was made to feel like a terrible person when he was 3, 4, 5 years old. Say he didn't go to bed on time, or he didn't put away his toys, or whatever. Or there was a divorce and he didn't choose the right parent, and the other parent really blasts into him. How could you do this to me? There's something wrong with you. You're a bad boy. You're a bad boy. Then you internalize that relationship of like, I'm a bad person. I'm a bad person. And then you start to relate to other people, you get close, and we will recreate those relationships that are still stuck in there. We, through splitting, projective identification, repetition compulsion, will recreate those relationships unbeknownst to us. We will subtly manipulate other people subconsciously to hate us and to berate us and to make us feel like we're terrible people. Because Brandon seems to be heading into a situation where both Savannah and Julia are going to hate him, including the internet is going to hate him. Why would someone self-destruct in that way so hard? That's one possibility. There's other possibilities too. I'm just speculating. Maybe we'll get more data along those lines. Let's see.
That you said, like, it's done with her. We found closure. Like, this is over. You literally.
You haven't asked, sweetie.
I asked you upstairs multiple times. So where are you guys?
Can we talk like adults? I would love that. Because I'm here for you. I kind of came to find you.
So he's had multiple statements along those lines where he comes across superior. Like, I'm the adult here and you're the child, and can we talk like adults here? Can we be? And she's, I think, understandably exasperated with this push-pull that she's experiencing with him. That's a concerning quality in him. So we'll see how that plays out, which probably isn't going to go well.
Because I care about you. I'm willing to make the decision now to work this out with you. If you think that there's any capacity in your heart to be able to trust me fully.
So the other possibility that could be happening, again, due to relational traumas, that he felt out of control. So he's a child, speculation. I'll just say one person, they're a boy and they're feeling out of control. They're being rejected a lot and they're being made to feel lesser and like they're the child and someone's putting them down. Maybe it's an older brother, maybe it's a parent, who knows. And you're being made to feel lesser, like you don't matter and that you're too emotional or something like that. You internalize that relationship. And later on in life, you recreate it by identifying with the abuser and making everyone else feel like the way you feel on the inside. I would strongly suspect that for Brandon on the inside, he often shames himself for feeling like a child, for feeling too emotional, for feeling too vulnerable. And so one of the ways you recreate the relationship is to do what he's doing to her. The other way you can actually engineer it is to slightly break up with them, have them freak out, chase them, and then talk down to them. So total speculation, but there seems to be something interesting going on with Brandon's personality. Let's see what else we can see.
I didn't think that was going to be like that at all.
I had a great day with you.
Yeah, it was a great day.
I'm optimistic. I'm choosing to do this well and right with you. And I'm glad we're going to move forward together.
So I'm really concerned about Julia and Brandon. I think they both bring some concerning personality traumas to the table that I'm guessing is going to make TV gold. And maybe we'll have a lot more data to sift through as these two relate. Now, maybe I'm predicting wrong. they'll have a super calm, differentiated, loving relationship with no drama at all. I guess we'll find out.
I hate to say this, and I don't want it to affect you in any level, but remember when I was like earmuffs?
Yeah.
When I asked him a crazy question, I was like, what would you have done if she said, I'm gonna stay, And he was like, I probably would have stayed with her.
Now, what does that mean? If Brandon did say that, if he said, well, if Savannah would have stayed, then I would have tried to work things out with her. Does that mean that he doesn't like Julia? Or does that mean that he liked both Julia and Savannah and had a hard time deciding, and Savannah made it easier for him by leaving the house, and now he's 100% invested in Julia? Who knows? But just that detail that she's reporting to Julia doesn't necessarily invalidate Brandon's affection or love or attraction to Julia. So they're kind of playing it off like that, but that's not necessarily true.
I just had a not so enjoyable conversation with Natasha.
Oh, why?
When she asked if you would have chosen Savannah, had the conversation gone differently? And she said you definitively said yes, you would have. So I'm just trying
definitively no.
I'm just trying to figure out.
I wanted to figure out what Savannah's position was, and we never got there.
Yeah.
We didn't see eye to eye.
Yeah.
So that was the end of it. I mean, that's the most important part.
No, the most important part is Julia's feelings right now, that she is worried that you don't really care about her. That's the most important part. It's pretty obvious. And for Brandon to be continuing to make his tea, you just have to wonder what is going on there. What is Brandon trying to protect himself from? Because that's usually when people he gives off a vibe, this is my interpretation, of bravado, like he doesn't care, like he's above it all. And when people do that, they're trying to protect themselves from something. There's something deeply scary that they're trying to deny. And it's usually something opposite. Like if the pendulum has swung too far into bravado, I don't care. And so I would suspect that deep down for Brandon, he thinks he cares too much and he feels like he's very out of control and very powerless. I don't know that, but it's a speculation, and it would explain, for me anyway, some odd behavior from him in this moment.
Julia, Brandon, I'm sorry. Take a moment, say your goodbyes.
Oh, I'm bummed out, actually. I was looking forward to seeing their personalities play themselves out on the show a little bit more, so we'd have something to grab onto. They seemed like they had the most analyzable personalities of all the people on the show. I know that's rather selfish of me, but that's how I feel. And my feelings matter, don't they? All right, well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. Thanks for joining me out there. Please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.